This is my garbage collector, my environmental protector. For some reason, people think it's okay to throw their garbage on the side of the road, and corporations think it's okay to dump toxic waste in the environment. Is there a solution to this problem, other than cleaning up after the mess has been made? I believe there is. Cooperation is key, and food co-ops provide numerous opportunities to create the more beautiful world we know in our hearts is possible. What is a food co-op? It's a grocery store owned by a community of people, not a corporation. A community of people who are passionate about strengthening their local economy, protecting the environment, and celebrating diversity while creating solutions to social injustice. Hello, my name is Joshua Cruz, and for the next 6 months I'll be traveling the country, visiting food co-ops and learning about the positive impact they're having in their communities. In this first episode, I sat down with Chris Dilley, General Manager of People's Food Co-op in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Chris was the project manager for the design and construction of their new building. As project manager, he helped guide a collaborative process that involved over 3,000 owners as they worked together to create an earth-conscious building.
Yeah, the environmental piece was central. It was a part of every conversation that we were having in some way or another. And the builder totally understood that that's what our goal. Had we had the money to spend what felt somewhat frivolously on LEED certification, we would have gone for LEED certification. But we realized that it was not, for our smaller project, it wasn't probably the best use of the $20,000 to $30,000 we estimated it would take to get the silver LEED that we would have gotten for this building. So instead, we put that money, that $20,000 to $30,000, into more environmental features and better insulation and some better lighting and things like that. I definitely felt there was like this kind of give and take between design and build and probably what was possible and budget. That was, the design builder was saying, well, here we got a budget, and what's the impact going to be of each of these items on the budget as well as on the environmental impact. We went through quite a bit of collaborative visioning for what expansion of PFC would look like. And it started with just conversations in e-newsletters and in paper newsletters. It actually, I would say, even started with renovating the old store. We had this 780 square foot store, and in 2005 and 6 we pulled everything out and put it all back in, and that was kind of this beginning of like, oh, this could be different. It could look and feel different, and what do we want it to be next? What can we dream up next? Several sessions over the years at annual meetings or other sessions where we call people together and brainstorm what do you want in your new co-op, and some of it would be verbal, some of it would be visual. We often had several stations where people could kind of go and think about what's the outside, what's the environment of the co-op store going to look like, and brainstorm and put up ideas, and then the next group would come and kind of circulate around like what are the food features that we'll have, what's the environment in the store going to be like, outside going to be like. So we did a lot of brainstorming like that, and that was really great because it really, like, over time you started to hear the same themes bubble up about the environmental impact, about the look and feel of the store and wanting it to be airy and spacious and well lit and colorful. And so all those ideas came through and got really cemented over time. When we announced this site, we actually announced it with a drawing of what we thought the store could look like. And so that was then the kind of a culmination of all of the ideas that we'd had so far. And then we took input on that. And, we had it up in the old store for months, where people could put up sticky notes with ideas and, that kind of thing. The two main ways that I would divide up the thinking about the environmental impacts were the site and then the building performance. so the performance of the actual structure. So when it came to the site, we were thinking about water runoff, thinking about light pollution, and thinking about the plantings. So when it came to water runoff, so first thing was to have the site be as permeable as possible, so as little pavement or non-permeable spaces or non-permeable surfaces as possible. And then what we did to further impact that in a positive way was have the parking lot pitched. Half of it's pitched into the and drains into the sewer system. But the other half is pitched in a way that it drains into a rain garden. And so that rain garden mimics a stream bed. And there is, in the event of more than a 1-inch rain event, there is a sewer at the end of that. So a sewer drain at the end of that. But anything 1 inch or less, the water percolates down and it cleans without going into the sewer system. And we wanted to do that. We worked with our county drain commissioner to help design that and help understand why we would want to do that. It primarily helps with reducing the burden on the water treatment system, which reduces energy needs. And then, of course, what we also did was install 2,000 native plants, trees, shrubs, flowers, grasses on the site as well. And so we were able to do our landscaping in a way where we didn't need to have extra water. We for the first 2 years we watered those in, but we'll never have to water that stuff again. We wanted to keep the pavement as light colored as possible to not absorb a ton of heat and make cities a heat sink, which is an issue from an environmental standpoint as well. So and then the roof is actually a reflective surface as well. So a lot more of the whole surface of our site is reflective rather than absorbing heat. So that's the site. And then in the building itself, key things that we were thinking about were insulation. There's insulation under the slab. There's 6 inches of blown in the walls and closed cell insulation in the walls, and then there's 6 inches in the roof as well. I guess the rest is, in terms of building performance, is mostly equipment based. So all the lighting, we had 50% dimmable fluorescent lighting in the store. We have a lot of natural light in the store that's a look and feel piece, but it also does, I think, reduce the need for extra lighting. We also have 6 solar tubes. Again, that's more look and feel, I would say. And then all of our refrigeration equipment, we have 16 pieces of refrigeration equipment, and each of those goes into a set of 4 compressors that keep them cold, as opposed to each one of them individually having compressors, and I understand that reduced the energy consumption by about 30%. When you generate cool or cold for refrigeration, you generate a lot of waste heat. We capture that waste heat in the system, that then a closed system that brings that waste heat into the store and preheats about 1,000 gallons of hot water a day to 117 degrees, so that we can reduce the amount of carbon generated by burning natural gas. And then rooftop units have some similar heat capture and cool capture. We have to recycle the air in the building 7 times an hour according to code, and so when we're conditioning air like today, using an air conditioner, we want to capture that cool and precondition the air coming in with that cool to again reduce the delta T, so we don't have to waste as much energy to get that air back down to the cold temperature that we're looking for. So those were things that, again, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any of this stuff when I started, and barely understand it now, but I understood from people who were advising me that knew a lot about it, that these are some of the things that we can do. So.
Two things I love about this story. First, what grocery store do you know that invites its customers to participate in the design of its new building? If there's one thing we lack in this country, it's a strong sense of community and the power we have to work together to create something meaningful. Food co-op like PFC helps break the mold, providing its community of owners the opportunity to create something together. Second, I love how People's Food Co-op chose not to spend $30,000 on a piece of paper certifying their building as environmentally friendly. Instead, they took that metaphorical pat on the back and made their building that much greener. As an owner of a food co-op, your voice matters, and you have the opportunity to participate in conscious consumerism by making sense of your dollar with every purchase you make. If you don't have a food co-op in your city, there are resources available to help guide the process of getting one started in your community. Visit the Food Co-op Initiative at fci.coop for more information.
Continue on I-196 West for 150 miles.
Next up, I'll be traveling to Madison, Wisconsin to visit Willie Street Food Co-op and learn how their local first mentality inspired their Retail Ready Lab, a program helping local entrepreneurs get their products on store shelves all around the capital.
Who leaves a dish rack in the middle of the street? Next time, I'm gonna be wearing gloves for this shit. I swear that I just got baby shit all over my hands. Thankfully, I have this nice clean cloth to clean me up.